60,000 plus one. That's our number for today. Hang around and find out what's so special about that number. We're going to start off by hearing something, then we will see something, you will get something, and then we will all reveal something. It's going to be a good one. Alright, so first up, you're going to hear something. So this is our Project Humble recap for term 1. Just to have a conversation with you about, how it all came about and what we've been able to achieve this term. So, rewinding to the end of last year, I was having conversations with your teachers and your schools about participating in Project Humble. They were all very productive, obviously, because you're on board. And then term 1 started. So what have we done in term 1? We have set up new apiaries with what's going on around varroa destructor, and we'll learn a lot more about varroa destructor as the year goes on. But we've had to spread our apiaries out. So originally we'd planned to use apiaries a little bit closer to where your schools are. But, being a resourceful crew, the Humble Hive Collective, we spread our wings a little bit, and now we are definitely spread around New South Wales, all the way up to Byron Bay, all the way down to Kiama. We've got an apiary in Barrington Tops. And recently we also set up some in Harrington and out at Gunnedah. So we'll be using those apiaries throughout the term. And the video, in fact, that you're going to see something in a moment is from another of our apiaries at Rainbow Flat. So it's been a busy and productive term beekeeping wise. It's also been a busy and productive term lesson wise with you guys. I've noticed the schools are engaging with the content, the foundation lessons in particular. I'm super excited to hear that feedback and to see those work samples. And because I'm excited to see hear that feedback and see those work samples, there is a little bit of a prize later in this HiveStream for some random and lucky participants that went to that extra effort of sending in some quality work samples. So we'll do that a little bit later. I just wanted to take the opportunity to officially thank you for being part. I know that I've been out to each of your schools this term, and I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed meeting you all, but Project Humble is one of those opportunities to kind of do a little bit different, to be a little bit stronger voice in your learning, and super grateful that your teachers and your schools are taking part. Okay, so I guess without much further ado, the first real segment, I know this was a segment, but the first real segment of today, our HiveStream, is where you're going to see something. And we're going to be talking about that number, 60,000 plus 1. We're going to be looking inside some nucleus beehives and learning a bit of bee basics. Over to you, Ben, the beekeeper, over at our Rainbow Flat Apiary. Hey everyone, we're at our apiary up here at Rainbow Flat, and we're going to use the bees here to show you a little bit more about what a colony is. I guess when we're talking about bees, we better start at the bee basics. Okay, so before we jump in, let's have a chat about what we're going to be looking for. So in each of these boxes, we've got, anywhere between, there's 8 frames, maybe 16 to 20,000 bees. It's what we call a nucleus colony. So when we use that word, what we're referring to is a smaller version of a bee colony, like the bigger ones over here. So these bigger hives here have got about 60 to 80,000 bees, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. And what makes a colony is that they're all related. So it's a really big family. So the one bee in there that is related to all of them, of course, is our queen. So that's why the queen and the choices that you've made has such a big influence on what the colony can do, because she is the relative, or she is the genetics that's passed on through all 60, 80,000 bees. But like I said, these ones here are young colonies, and that's how we start beehives. And the reason we do that, generally speaking, is because it's
safer to introduce a queen, like the one that you've chosen, into a smaller family, wait for them to accept her, and for her to grow with the colony. So what I will do now is I'll hit pause, I'll jump into a hive, and I'll flip the camera around and show you through bits and pieces and what we expect to see in one of your colonies with your queen that you've been building. So hopefully fairly soon I'll be collecting those hives, and I'll be transferring the bees and the colony from my boxes into your boxes, or your beehive. Okay, hold on. Hive. So the hive that you have doesn't require one of these straps because there are different mechanisms in it to keep it all down. Similar to the hive that you have, it has a roof. This one is nowhere near as fancy or as clever as the roof that I'm sure you've made and that you might be painting right now, or you have painted. This is just a normal roof. So we're going to use our trusty hive tool to pop that lid and to remove it. Apologies for the camera work. And then we can see what's going on inside. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frame brood box, similar to the one that you've built. Same dimensions, and will fit the same amount of brood frames, but as you can see, isn't made of the cedar wood and doesn't look probably as fancy as the ones that you have made. So when we do upgrade a colony like this into a cedar wood box, I'm sure, you know, they like their new digs. But let's have a look. This is what it looks like. Now I'm going to very carefully use my hive tool and crack the frames, because what happens is the bees use some propolis, which is a fancy word for like tree sap and tree resin, and they glue everything together, which helps them, I guess, kind of get around their hive. But for us beekeepers, when we're trying to remove a frame, it acts as a sticky barrier to that. So I'm going to pick this frame up here, which you can't really see which one I'm pointing at. I can see it's got lots of bees on it, which is great. But what I'm looking for is whether or not, now this might be a bit hard with my hands, whether or not we have evidence of our queen doing well. So this is an outside frame, and what I mean by an outside frame is that the bees are using it to store pollen. You can see the pollen in there, so the different colours of pollen. There's also nectar, which is a bit hard to see there on the camera, but it's the shiny stuff that, it's a liquid, and obviously, well not obviously, but as you might have already learnt, nectar is the stuff that is produced by trees and flowers, and through an amazing process, it gets turned into honey, which we'll talk a lot more about later. But for today, we're just looking at the colony as a whole. So when we're talking about nucleus colonies, they're small families. For them to survive, they need a queen. This is one of our queens that we have grafted. I can't remember if this one, it would have said on the lid, if it was an Italian or a Carniolan or a Caucasian, but when we find her, we'll be able to identify that based off of her physical characteristics. But this frame, because it's a further into the middle of the brood box, should have significantly more baby bees, brood, eggs and larvae. So let's have a look. Look at this. Exactly what we expected. So this hive is doing well. These are baby bees waiting to emerge. And we'll talk a little bit about, you know, the different phases that happen. Looking lovely and handsome. It's an Italian queen. Why do I know that? Physical characteristics. So it's very golden, hence the golden all-rounder. Absolutely stunning. Working her way through, finding space for her to lay eggs. This is a very healthy hive. So where did our queen go? She's gone missing now. not really, she's in here somewhere, but maybe I might put up a photo and you can see if you can find it. I'll put a timer up and we can do a Where's Wally. All right, hold on a second. Let's take a photo and get you guys looking for that queen hunting.
Okay, we are up to the segment where, which I've been waiting for like 10 plus weeks, we get to give something. So this is our merch giveaway. It is related to, well, it's available to anyone who has submitted a work sample. So what is that and how does it look? When you're completing your work back at school, your teachers have been sending through some of the very best quality work, or some students have been the most impressed with. Perhaps it's because of the effort that they've put in, perhaps it's because of the quality that they've produced, or perhaps it's a combination. And what that lucky person will be getting this HiveStream is some merch, similar to the shirt that I'm wearing here. Obviously, they can choose their own hero, whether it's the Golden Arounder, Pocket Rocket, or the Flower Specialist. They can choose their colour, they can choose their size, make it custom fit for them. We'll also be handing them some of our cool limited edition stickers with some variations on that. And it's limited edition because we didn't get that many printed to begin with, but if they prove really useful and successful, then we'll make more. And they'll also be getting some yummy honey, not from your hive per se, but from one of my hives. Perhaps it's one of our hero hives, or perhaps it's from something different from one of the apiaries. So we'll take you over and we will jump into the computer and we'll announce the winner. Show you what we've got in Project Tumble. If you head over to projecttumble.com.au, if you haven't had a look at the website, this is where your teachers are collecting their resources, but also where there's some media that we're putting up. In the merch tab, we have a bunch of new shirts that have just been uploaded that are now available for purchase. And this is where the lucky person for our giveaway this HiveStream will get to make their choice. So any of these shirts on here, from the Mummy's Little Honey all the way through to our hero shirts in any size, any shape, any colour. And I'll show you what you do is you hit on the product that you're after, you have a look at the colour options when they load. Any of these colours, any of the styles is available for the lucky person. Obviously any of the sizes. Now if you're like me, you've outgrown that kids section, hopping into the men's or the women's shirts to pick the right size, and also to have a look at those colours as well. So there we are. So what I'm going to do now is I will announce the winner. This week's prize giveaway, merch giveaway, honey, stickers, shirt, I'd like to congratulate, I think it's Ethan. Let's pull him up. Yep, Ethan in Year 6 from Patterson Public School, who did a fantastic job of writing his persuasive piece of writing to convince his class, to convince his school that the Queen selection should be the Flower Specialist, of which he did did a great job. I do like how you use great sentence structure. And your points are very persuasive. You've broken them down and you've used things like facts and statistics and groups of 3 and high modality language, because I, as a person reading that, felt very persuaded, which is good. So congratulations, Ethan. Patterson Public School, you were the lucky person for the merch giveaway this week. All right, so one more segment left in our HiveStream today, one that we've been waiting and building up for all term, and that's to do with your queen bee design. So I'm going to jump back on the computer, and this is the part in the HiveStream where you'll have to make a choice as to which school you are, because there's no point us talking about the designs of all the schools. We'll be here to the beginning of next term, and I'm pretty sure you want to get off the end of the week and have your own holiday. So select your school on the menu that's about to come up, or perhaps I've done it a different way. The menu that's about to come up, and you'll get to see what your design is. I'm super excited. Thank you to Double Star, and thank you to all of our team, and thank you to all of you for putting in the input. The characters that we've come up with and the visuals are stunning. Please understand that each of the visuals will be your queen, and it will be used as content moving forward. So yeah, hold on, let's jump in.